Get it? So then that way, everybody's got the documentation that they need that are actual citizens of this country. And I'm not talking about people. So if you were born here and you were 20 and your parents were illegal when you were born, you're not eligible to get the passport. And everybody's like, well, wait a minute, what about the just soil and all that? We are going over the 14th Amendment right now. And until that is decided, you cannot get that. No. That's where I'm at on this. But I think, Americans that were born here to either naturalized parents or their parents are already American citizens should be gifted a passport and a passport ID card. And it will be their responsibility going forward to make sure that it is renewed I think it's like 10 years. You have to renew it. And then this way, there's no issue when it comes to voting, period. There's no issue. Because right now, this is an issue. And the Democrats always go back to, well, I find it funny. There's no illegals voting in our elections. Yes, there are. You've got 19 states that don't require ID. Stop that. It's just such a bad look and a bad conversation. So I'm going to go back to my Twitter, my feed, because she's interesting. This one's interesting. So let's take a listen here.
The whole point of the democracy is to make it possible for people to vote, because it's the people who get to decide the policies. And Republicans talk nonstop about protecting women. And you'd think, if they really believe this, that this would be a non-starter for them, because it disenfranchises so many women. But as we have seen with the Epstein files over this past year, what they say and what they do are two different things. The whole point of the democracy.
Really? What they say? Wow. It says Rebecca Valiant suggests that women won't be able to vote if the SAVE Act passes. Why does she think that women are not capable of getting ID? Like I said, I find it fascinating where they're at. And what I'm trying to find is there is something going around, and maybe I'll find it, maybe I won't, where they have now involved the LGBTQ in here and saying how trans women may be disenfranchised. Well, first of all, they're not women. Let's just start there. You're not a woman, you're a man pretending to be a woman. Okay? You are pretending. So yes, is this going to affect you? Absolutely. Because see, when you show up with your birth certificate, it says you're a man, even though you're dressed like a woman. Because you're not a woman. So if this is going to affect people, it's going to affect the trans people that believe they're women. Let me look that up. Well, actually, you know what? Let me look it up in Grok. Oh, sorry, guys. I just thought about this. I was like, wait a minute. Well, I do this sometimes on the show for those of you that are new. And it is an interesting conversation to have, in my opinion, because there are people that strongly believe they are as they identify. But, at the beginning of last year, one of the first few executive orders that President Trump signed was defining that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. So he was like, I'm not playing this gender game. Biologically, you are who you are. There's no more identifying, right? So briefly, like I said, I got stuck in the research bubble. And I just got stuck on it. Like, okay, what's going on? Oh, that's so sweet. Well, Grok is going on. Will Jones says, Shaki Nichols, you are a natural. Keep, sorry. There we go. I was trying to do your comment. It says, keep going and sharing. Oh, thank you so much. Well, I appreciate that. And good morning. Thank you for joining us on the show. And Uncle Coolwater, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. And Uncle Coolwater says, good morning. I heard that a lot of women who are married and are required to show a birth certificate or something like that doesn't necessarily match their marriage name. Have you heard anything about it? Yes, I have. And here's the thing. I've heard about it for a long time because I've actually, been married. This is my third marriage. No judgment, right? I got it right the third time. Third time's a charm. Let's just say that. Okay. But here's the deal. Every time that I got married and divorced, so my first marriage and divorce, I went back to my maiden name. Now, it was pretty easy to go back to my maiden name from my married name, right? Because it was my first last name. So that was easy. Now, my second marriage, because I had went through it the first time, you start off with your social security card, because once you get your social security card with your new name on it, honestly, everything is easier because you can show the transition with your birth certificate and your social security card. So getting your ID card after that, it's just an easier process. So what would have been silly is to go to the DMV and say, hey, my name has changed. They would tell me, go back to the Social Security office because we're going to need your number and your name and your social security number to match before you do anything else. So that's what I learned. And they're not bringing this up. Oh, you're saying, okay, that was the question. Oh, my question was about your name matching your ID to vote. Oh, gotcha. Look, if let's just say, well, this kind of happened to me. So my husband and I, we got married. When we got married, my maiden name was on my passport, right? If I had gotten it changed by the time we got married, it had been like a year, and I fell out of that 6-month window where I could just, get it updated for a small fee, I would have had to pay the fee of getting another passport. So I just waited, right? No shame. I just waited. Now, there were times when I was traveling that it was kind of just an inconvenience because my names didn't match. That's kind of how this voter ID thing will pan out. But you have to register that way first. So you can't just show up at the voter booth, right, without your paperwork together. So let's just say 2026, you get married, I guess, in September. Elections in November. Oh no. There's a name change. What do you do? Do you register with your maiden name as you already are right now and all of your documents match? Or do you register under your married name? Right? Where your documents are going to be different because it's going to take some time. It's going to take a couple of weeks to get that paperwork aligned and matched up. So I hear what you're saying, Uncle Coolwater. It's making sure you are who you say you are. So even if you go and you register and you present your documents, they're going to be able to sift this out for you because people get married. And on your marriage license, it actually shows your maiden name. So you're fine. That maiden name is going to match your birth certificate, right? Your ID, if it's not changed yet, is still going to match your birth certificate and the name that's on your marriage license. So they know that you are who you say you are. Okay? Even if you've put in for your name change. So everything is always in alignment. What they're trying to do is say, okay, You've got your birth certificate with your maiden name, your driver's license has your married name, and there's no other document in between there to show what happened. Why did your name change? Just show all your documents. And that's all you got to do. It's not really difficult to do, but they're making it seem like it's so burdensome. Oh my God. You know what? Look, there are a lot of women that get married that don't change their name at all. Let's just talk about that part. Okay. Look, I told my husband when we got married, I was like, look, I got married to these other two individuals, and guess what? I changed my last name. So what I'm not going to do is sit here and go, I'm not changing my last name. You know what? My last name is Nichols all day, every day. Okay. I did that. I want to be matching. I'm in the group. Okay. My last name is Nichols. Period. My maiden name is right. Okay. And I'm happy about it. And it's joyful. So I know that there are reasons that other women do not change their last name. Some, they've gotten married more than once. They have children with the prior marriage, and they decide, okay, I'm going to keep this last name until my children are graduated or whatever. Then, or they hyphenate their last name. There's a lot of people that do that. Personal choice, I ain't doing that. Right? I'm grateful all my paperwork matches. But there are ways and documentations to show that you're good. But they're trying to make it seem like, oh my gosh. But it's just something to crash out about because they want to cheat. I'm down with Johnson. They just want to cheat. Like, just say it. Just say it with your whole chest. And Cajun Lady, thank you so much for joining us this morning on the stream. I was getting concerned. I was like, my stream wasn't showing up on X yesterday. I was like, what did I do? My goodness. It was crazy. But I hope that helps, Uncle Coolwater, because it can seem very confusing to those who have not had to do that. Right? Men do not typically have to go through a name change unless there's like an adoption thing that happened when they were younger, right? And they want to change their last name, or let me see what other things can change. You know, maybe later on in life, let's say they were adopted and they met their adoptive parents and they want, again, those are steps that you would have to take, but then you would have to show up with your adoption certificate, which is what they brought up. That can be a formal document, right? Verifying you are who you say you are. But see, a lot of these people that are here illegally, they don't have birth records. And from the place that they left, they don't have access, I should say, to those records. So they can't affirm their citizenship. So let's just dial it back a little bit. This is about affirming your citizenship. This is not necessarily about affirming who you are. And that's why people are crashing out about this. Because you have to validate your citizenship. That's what this is about. Are you an American or are you not? Right? And if you are a naturalized citizen, right, then you are a citizen of this country. But if you're a Visa card holder, you're not. If you're a green card holder, you're not. If you're H-1B, you are not. So all of those classifications, if you're not naturalized, it's over. Let's just put it that way. If you're not naturalized, you're done. So you can't go vote for anything. Nothing. You shouldn't even be on the rolls. And this is going to clear a lot of people off the voter rolls, which is why there's a certain party crashing out about this. That's why they're crashing out, you guys. Just you know, just, whew, my goodness. Now, I did want to go into the trans women a little bit, just a bit, just rock with me on this one. So, will this affect trans women? Because I'd ask, yes, the SAVE Act could significantly affect trans women, potentially disenfranchising many due to its strict documentary proof of citizenship requirements for voter registration in federal elections. These burdens are similar to those faced by cisgender It's so stupid. By real women. Let's just replace that, but faced by real women, right? Whose names mismatch, but often are exacerbated for trans women because of additional challenges in updating legal documents to reflect their name and gender identity. You can't change your biological. You can't just identify as something biological. And like I said, it's going to mess them up because you can no longer identify right now, at least under that executive order. If you were born a man, then you're a man, and that's it. And you're just going to have to show that kind of proof, and you're going to feel like, well, that's intrusion. You're intruding. No, you're a man, and you're a man that decided to identify as a woman, but that's not going to save you. When you register to vote, you've got to register as a man, not a woman, because you're not a woman. So everybody's about to crash out on this and get real offended. Just saying. So based on